welcome. All right. I am getting into the pouch. Pixie, Mojo, you guys ready?
Cherry, tell us, what are we talking about today?
Yes.
Oh. First date.
First date. Does that also include dates secured via dating apps?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
That makes sense.
Okay. So
Seedless dates? Are those included?
Aioli. All right. So first date.
First ever. Okay, how far back is this taking you? I think the series really does take us back. So what are we thinking?
For me, it takes me back to around when I was 28 years old. So not that far back. But that was my first experience going out on a date.
Me too. I think we're a bunch of late bloomers here.
Well, you know what? I want to just take a moment, maybe understand, and I know I'm always doing this, but what is a date, right? What are we talking about? Like, which set of circumstances makes it a date? Is somebody asking someone out? And is that being asked out to dinner or a meal? Does it have to have been a meal, or, you know, the classic meal or a movie or something, or like coffee? Or you're just meeting just to meet without any romantic? I mean, there is definitely a romantic angle here, right? It's
yes.
We mean romantic date.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that means the people being, whether you're being asked or whether you're doing the asking, it is a romantic intent.
Absolutely. I think that's...
Okay. Got it. In which case, the second thing I want to ask is, asking and going out on a date with somebody you're not already sort of organically fallen into a relationship. Because it's confusing for me, because that's how mine was, just sort of segueing into a sort of relationship with a friend. So there wasn't the concept of that date, you know, being asked at a bar, or, you know, what the movies show or the books show. So just thinking about that, we're looking at being asked or asking as such.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so I want to hear, Mojo, why don't we start with you today?
Sure. It's taking me back to now. I mean, I think my late 20s, right? Again, for me, by default, it was on a dating app. I was on Grindr, and then was chatting with this person, and I think we both felt, oh, now we've chatted enough, we should kind of meet. So that's when we were like, where should we meet? So invariably, this whole scheduling, fixing a place, that invariably became like a date. And we picked a weekend. We were going for a movie. This person really was into animated movies. So he chose something and we picked that place. Now I don't even recall which movie we went to.
Well, because you were engaged with other activities.
No, actually nothing happened. I think I was also very just like, because it was the first time, it was also, I wasn't sure what to expect. But definitely there was excitement and all of that. And this person was very good looking. So there was a lot of, I recall this person was running late. It was a Saturday morning. So either he had woken up late or whatever. I was there early and waiting, and this person came. We went, watched the movie, and it was a fun animated movie. This person was totally into it and was talking about his craze for like animated movies, which I thought was cute, all of that. And then we finished it, and then what happened was hilarious, I think. I had parked my bike outside this theater thing, and to my luck, I parked it in a no parking.
Oh no.
So my scooter was towed, and this person was in his car, and I was shocked. I was like, oh, what the hell, like, I have to go, car, I mean, I didn't know if it was stolen, if it was stored, all of that. And then I didn't know where this date was going, because this was second priority immediately for me, because I was like, I had to find my bike. And then this person was damn sweet. So we were like, oh, which is the closest police station, all of that. And I think the person honestly was a little confused, like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, what a colorful first date.
I know. And to cut the story short, I think this person ended up coming with me to the police station.
Aww.
I ended up paying some money, getting back my scooter, all of that. I think it was just, and I could read this person's face, right? And if I was in his place, I would have probably felt the same as well. I'm like, this was exactly not what I was imagining on my first date. I don't think this was the first date for that person. But it was very, like, this person was also not 100%. I think he was just being good, out of the goodness of his heart. He was just hanging around and being there. But it was just funny that we had to go to the cops on our first date. And then it led to a very good evening in this person's place. So I think it ended well. So I think it was a good date if it ends well.
Wow. And that was your first time?
That was my first time. As I recall, like really scheduling, agreeing to meet at a place and all of that. Yeah.
Oh, how cute. What an adventurous story.
Yeah.
So mine's sort of similar to Mojo's because as we discussed what date is, with that understanding, the first time I planned, and it was sort of this two people deciding, okay, let's meet, or would you like to meet, and should it be dinner, would it be coffee, is it drinks? I think one time I was in Delhi, and that's where this happened. And basis that was my first date. And I genuinely, that was the first date experience. Only after that could I say, I've been on a date as such. Because like I said, you could be dating someone per se, and not have gone on a date as I have. I don't know, maybe there are other people like me. So this one though was fun because we decided to go for drinks. So it was an evening thing. And also there was live performance there by Peter Cat Recording Company.
No idea who they are.
No, you get there, and I mean, I had heard their stuff a little bit, and this is related to the story because I get there and there's a whole bunch of people there, and they sort of have a cult following, and everyone knows the lyrics, so everyone's dancing, and this person that I'm with also knows. So then that sort of also became a focal point of the meeting. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just strictly, when two people meet, and you just have to ask each other those so-called first date questions. There was something else to anchor our conversation on. I felt, because otherwise I do not like pleasantries. So maybe the reason I just took so long to go on a date is because as just my aversion to, what's your favorite color? And then when did you grow up? So I didn't have to engage too much in that, although, okay, of course, there's a little bit of that. Where do you go to school? But so then it was kind of fun. I didn't mind it, and then since then I have then been more open to going on a first date and realizing that I don't have to do pleasantries only, and we can sort of anchor the conversation to maybe some shared interest. And I'm not saying that I invented that. I'm sure everyone does that, but I've been able to avoid pleasantries. What about you, Pixie?
Yeah, so I mean, I've had a really unique experience actually, which I'm quite proud of. So like I said, late 20s. I just moved to Bangalore and made some friends, and one of them, we were quite close. We would hang out quite a lot, and I always felt that there was some kind of sexual attraction that we had for each other, but because I'd never done this before, I just didn't know. We would go out for like dinners and go out for coffee, but I would never know whether they were dates. So to me, it always felt like this is someone who just wants to be friends, but there was also this sexual undertone, so it was very confusing. So one day I decided, whatever, I'm just going to ask this person out on a date. So I remember sitting on my bed and drafting a message that I would send this individual to ask him out for dinner and actually say that as this is going to be a date, I'd like to ask you out on a date. And I was so nervous while I was doing this because we'd spent months being friends that it would just be weird if he said no. So yeah, I sent the message and he said yes, and it was great, and I'd never been on a date before.
Wait, hold on. No. What did you say in the message? So what was it? How was it different? I was like, hey, buddy, let's go for a movie all these weeks. And now was it like, hey, buddy, I want to go for a movie? So how did you convey that tone? Like, what did you say? Hey, you want to go on a romantic? Like, how did you specify that this is a different Pixie?
I can't remember what I said, but I remember saying very, very clearly that let's go out on a date. Let's go out for dinner.
Oh, so just calling it a date made it romantic?
Yes. Yeah. So there was no it was just that like this is a date, we're not going out as friends, kind of statement. And and he said yes, and it was actually quite the kind of date that one would imagine. He picked me up from my house with a bouquet of flowers, and I was like, what? Someone got me flowers? Nobody's ever given me flowers. And so we went out. We went for a nice dinner. It was slightly awkward because we'd been friends for a couple of months, but now we were kind of setting the stage for something that was romantic. So I remember we both had some like silences during dinner where we didn't really know what to say. So we had dinner, and then we wanted to continue sort of hanging out. So we decided to go for a walk, and we drove from Indranagar, we drove to Jai Mahal, and Jai Mahal is this like, all these like beautiful little lanes with big houses and lots of trees at night at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And we were walking down those lanes and having conversations. I think once or twice he tried to hold my hand. Once he tried to put his arm around me, and I was just like, oh my God, this is real. This is like a date. This is happening. You know, this is what I set up this whole night for. And it was great. And then he dropped me off home, and then we were done. So it was a very nice, like I would imagine it, kind of date.
Wait, Pixie being cheeky. What do you mean tried to? So you didn't succeed in doing any of those things? You tried to put his arm around
I don't know.
And he was watching it away? Or what happened?
And it just slipped.
I mean, he would...
Didn't quite fit.
Yeah.
No, he would like put his arm around me over my shoulders, and then slowly he would go back down. I mean, it was all... There was a
very
lot
tentative.
Tentative hesitation, but still wanting to try different
How
things.
were you expressing that, I'm cool with that? Or
I mean, I think because it was my first time having any guy's hand on my, like, in this manner, I was quite stiff. You know, so I think I also wasn't very comfortable during that thing. It was very tentative. I was probably more tentative than he was. But he probably sensed that, which is why he was also being mindful of my own boundaries, I guess. But it was a great date. And besides everything else, I was so happy that I asked someone out on a date. I thought this was very...
Bravo.
Yeah, I was like really empowered and felt great. Just, you know, telling someone, hey, let's go out on a date. I had a lot of fun. And then after that, going out on dates became easier each time I did it. So that was the non-app experience.
Yeah, definitely.
But then my app experience, because I didn't know the individual before meeting them, my first one was on OkCupid. This gentleman and I were talking for a while, a couple of months, and we decided that we would meet. Obviously, safety is a big concern, and I'd, again, not done this before, meet a complete stranger for a date. So I was very clear that we would meet during the day for lunch, very close to my house, so that if anything happens, I can get out.
Yeah.
I'd informed 2 friends of mine that I was going on this date, and if I needed support, they would come and get me, or they would call me. So it was very thought through. So it didn't have that same level of sort of excitement.
The spontaneity.
Yeah, but this one still also for me was really empowering because I'd never gone on a date with a stranger, someone who I hadn't met before. And even though we talked for a few months, you know, there's always this thought that the kind of person you're speaking to online may not really be the person that you will eventually speak to when you're there. Like maybe they're 2 different people. So I was very cautious, but yeah, I felt really empowered that I was able to meet this individual. There was no connection whatsoever, but we had a good conversation for an hour, and that was it. Nothing happened. Didn't have to call my friends, and we were good. Yeah.
I do that too. I also inform somebody that I'm going on a date with. Yeah. Especially if it's from, but I can't say especially because that's the only thing I do, which is app-based stuff. I've never actually done, Pixie, what you're talking about. Perhaps Mojo later you have. But going on a date with somebody I met in real life, so to speak. I've never done that. Yeah. I should do that. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I have more comfort, weirdly enough, in comparison to what you just said, Pixie, that with a stranger. Because there's nothing. There's no frame of reference apart from the bit of a conversation, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're presenting yourself brand new, so I think you don't go in with any baggage, because with the person that you already know, now you're kind of like resetting the rules in some way. I don't know, maybe it'll be a different experience. Have I? I don't think I have gone with someone I've known on a date.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, with friends, you're always like, it's a date, and you're like, whatever, make it special, but that's different, of course. It's not romantic.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. Right.
I think what's so interesting about dates is the anticipation. Just
absolutely,
like you said, and I think part of it is we've been conditioned to what this is going to play out like. Just the whole picking up and all of that is so, I think, just adds to the charm of a date. I recall, I mean, this is not my first date, but much later or much more recently, I recall the three of us were at a dance thing. We took a dance workshop, and then this person was coming. So just the anticipation that this person was going to come home to pick me up, and then we were going to go to dinner. All of that just like adds so much excitement, and I was really looking forward to it. Yeah,
I have to say that one of the earlier dates as well, where I didn't get picked up, but I did get dropped off, and I'm not kidding. This person's car was this unbelievable fuel guzzler, and I felt like I was sitting in a truck. And luckily, I was staying at a friend's place, and so it wasn't really my place. But this person was more interested than I was, because it turned out this person was a child. Okay, so okay, I should say childish, because childlike is nice. So they were childish, and I just was like, okay, bye. But it was one of those people who thought it was really cool. They had a car and thought that would impress somebody, and wore chains and gold, and really thought that they were the shiz. And so the dropping and picking up felt like, oh, look at this, I'm being so chivalrous. It's sort of very self-congratulatory. I don't know, I just haven't had a very good, picking up and dropping off. I know you said charming, but perhaps I could be persuaded based on with whom I'm doing this, but just first blush, I'm not into that. I'm more like Dutch on everything. If both have asked. Well, let's talk about that actually. So on the date, talk about the bill. Like, how does that work? Or how did that work at the first date? Because it's the first date, so
always Dutch for me.
Yeah, me too. I think either the person ended up paying for certain things, I paid for certain things. So there was like sharing of a certain sort in that way. I mean, we weren't like, you buy your own ticket, I'll buy my own ticket kind of a thing. So I bought the ticket, they bought like popcorn and whatever. So things like that, I think we were even in that way. Yeah.
For me though, that sort of gesture of paying the bill, I'm almost judging the individual a little bit, because I use it as, hey, I want to pay Dutch. I want this to be equal. But if you're insisting too much, it tells me a little bit about something about you. And I mean, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but it's always been like a test for me in some case, whether men are open and comfortable for both parties to pay equally versus not. So yeah, I kind of use it as a test sometimes.
I mean, I think it's more of a test of alignment, because per se, there's no right or... I mean, there's some individuals, men and women, who want the other person to pay and show and keep insisting, and so they love that song and dance. Whereas perhaps you and I share that's not something up our alley. But I have a view on this. On dates, a romantic date, it's not nothing to do with gender or your sex, but who asked whom. I think it's fairly straightforward. I don't understand why we discuss it at such great length, because it's not about your body parts as much as if I asked you, then I will pay, because had I not asked you, you wouldn't have gone out for dinner, so you wouldn't have had to spend that. Right? So I asked you to come out of your comfort zone and come out, so I'll pay for it because I asked you out. But if you ask me out, then you treat me because you asked me to come out on the treat. And if it's an app-based thing, Mojo, like we're doing a lot of app-based stuff, that's like two people deciding together. So, wouldn't it be Dutch? At that point, when people are like, no, chivalry, or like, and I'm like, I don't understand. I'm not trying to just be anti, I don't, how dare you, like, not let me pay. It's just like, in this case, we both agreed, so I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on that. But even for me, even if I were to ask someone out on a date, that option of going Dutch is really important to me. Like,
but if you ask them out,
even though,
but you're asking them out on a meal, so.
But they said yes to come out on a meal with me, so.
That is so interesting.
So I was go Dutch.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, it's like it's the person who's doing the asking is saying, look, I want to take you out.
Oh.
Right? I want to take you out. Had I not asked you, you wouldn't be doing this. So it's clear as day.
Okay.
Yeah, just anyone out there listening. That's how Cherry likes it.
Note to self.
Yeah.
How about first bad dates?
Oh God. Oh, good one.
Good one.
I guess it's the person who dropped me in the big freaking truck. Right, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane, dudes. Yeah, but in terms of interactions, I was just like, I can't believe we even just met. I haven't really had that. Has there been unpleasant experiences with either of you guys?
Yeah, I think I agreed to go on a date with this person. Again, I'm just amazed at how many movies I've gone to on dates, and also because I probably like movies.
Did y'all watch the movies?
We watched the
Okay.
movies. There were
Nice.
watched the movie. There was some making out in this one.
Okay.
But it was very nervous, and because
Punching.
we were kind of nervous, and this was a first for me, really making out in the theater. And then I remember this was Forum, I think. And then we were outside and we were getting coffee, and this person went on this I hate Bangalore rant, which I cannot stand.
Oh no! Was the classic
Yeah.
Was the classic the traffic business or just everything?
Just general. This
Lord.
person was pissed off about everything. He was from outside and was just like, "Oh, Bangalore just doesn't cut it for me," and "Oh, I have been to so many cities and everyone's so warm, and but in Bangalore, I just don't like anything. I don't like the people." And I mean, this person was literally talking at me because after a point I cut off. And I was just like, how do I get out of this thing? Because I literally let this person talk at me for 45 minutes, I think, around 45 minutes. Just talking about how Bangalore is so unfriendly, I feel so lonely, and I hate everything about Bangalore, which I couldn't
You checked out.
Yeah, I checked out after a while, so that was my bad day.
And they didn't even check back in to say, "Are you with me?"
Yeah.
They just kept ranting.
Yeah.
Yikes! That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I've had a similar experience.
Really?
And that was going to be my story for bad dates.
Okay.
And
it's uncanny.
Yeah, and this was not even I hate Bangalore. This was I hate India.
Oh.
Oh my God, that was a very terrible 45 minutes in the middle of the day, in the middle of a Sunday. I remember we were at a bar, and this dude had just come back from, I don't know, the UK, I want to say, I don't remember. And he just went on and on and on about how much he hated India and what a bad place India was. And I was just like, can we stop this conversation right now?
Yeah.
I'd like to go Dutch, please, on the phone.
I may have gone Dutch still, regardless. But it was a horrible date. I hated it. It's probably one of the first few times where I've left a date and said, this was shit.
That was a bloody waste of time.
Also because while chatting on the app, this individual never gave me a sense that, this is what his views were about India. Everything was literature, blah, blah, blah. And then we were sitting there, and that's all the conversation is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so what? Why are you here then? Go back to the UK. So after that date, the individual sent me a text message saying can we meet again? I just think I didn't put my best foot forward.
Wow.
And I was just like, no thanks. Bye-bye. Enjoy the UK. Yay.
Impressive he was actually reflective enough.
But points for self-awareness, exactly,
Yeah.
Mojo. That's what I was going to say.
I mean, I think I was very, irritated.
And fair enough. I mean,
so
fish in the
irritated.
sea,
Yeah.
ladies and gents.
Just going by that point, it's so important, this post-date communication that happens, right? The texting, either saying, hey, that was good, we should do that again, or it was nice meeting you or something. I feel, especially for dates, it can't end at the date.
Mojo, I am not going to meet that standard. And ghosting has become quite the sort of the phenomenon of this decade, or 5 years at least. And I think I'm very guilty of it. I do that.
Okay.
So that truck fellow and other people that I didn't necessarily want to see, I do make it clear. Since then, as I've evolved in the communication I feel I should give from a human ethical standpoint or sensitivity standpoint, make it clear right up front. But I have been known to just stop communicating And then I just kept posting and then just keep messaging. And I was just hoping like you get the picture because I think I wasn't comfortable saying no. I felt guilty about it. So I just sort of stopped all comms. And that's kind of rude and that's immature. And I reflected on that. And I try not to do that anymore. And up front I say, guys, this is just a one-day thing. It's a one-time gig. Let's see where this goes. If it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't. I don't care. So,
but at least you set it up in the beginning.
Yeah, that's now. But yeah. I'm afraid I wouldn't have met Mojo's standard. And I am sad about that.
Yeah,
well, sorry about that. But you're right, because now what I'm saying is that that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that post-date communication. But in the first dates that you all had, like, did you know what the mechanisms were? Did you know to do that? Or just from cultural references, you knew to do that?
So I think I've evolved. I think as an individual, I would tend to keep saying yes to meet again and again because I didn't know how to say no.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would spend more time being like, all right, let's give the individual another date to see whether my first impressions were right or whether, I was too quick to judge. So I would keep doing that until one day I realized that I was just spending too much time. And so I went online and looked for various ways in which people tell people that they don't want to see again in a very nice manner.
Oh.
So I found a version that I liked and made it my own, and then after that I just started using that, which was something like, I had a nice dinner with you, but I don't see that I don't see that we're that connected, and I wish you all the best, blah blah blah. And the first time I used that, I thought the individual would be really upset, and I don't know, say something like, oh, let's just meet again, blah blah blah. But this individual was so nice about it, and he was just like, oh, I also had a great time, but thanks for telling me, I get it. And then we've never communicated since then, but that worked for me.
Yeah, for me also, I think just because for me, if I'm not into the person, then automatically they'll get friend zoned. So then I'll start treating them like a friend, like, hey, it was nice having
I totally drop bra and go
and
yo, what's up and stuff.
Yeah.
I try to tap into that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what about blind dates? Any blind dates scenes? I've never had
like
one.
Somebody setting you up?
Yeah.
Like you're literally meeting and speaking to them for the first time?
Yeah. Because I've set people up on blind dates, but I've never been on one myself.
Okay, I haven't been on one of Mojo's blind dates.
I know.
I'd like to get in on that actually.
Yes.
Put me on that list.
Done.
No, I haven't. I have nothing to report on that matter.
But it's exciting.
Yeah, kind of like I guess arranged marriage people go through that. That's a blind date set by the parents.
Yeah. True. Sad but true.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been on a blind date. I mean, I've probably been to a party where there's someone there who my friends think that I should go out with, and then after the party they set it up, but not like blind dates.
So sort of half blind.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be really a really nice experience actually to give that a shot and see what that's like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Mojo, get me on that list.
Yes, done.
I can get you on that list too.
Yeah, well,
can I set you up?
Yeah.
Can I set you up?
Let's do it. I'm in the mood.
Done. It would be my first experience
I'm in
setting
the
up.
mood for some food, you know what I mean?
Did you know that over 80% of Indian women find a man's education as the biggest turn on while looking for a match on the dating app, and about 86% of Indian men believe a good profile picture does it for them?
Ew.
That's it?
That's it.
Ew.
Okay, no.
Why?
It's
Those
I think
stats.
I know, but okay, so I did read another article which said the same thing for men, that appearance is what they sort of go for. But for women, it was humor, I think. So,
either way, more evolved than a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about the app world, but more specifically, did you know that nearly 73% of LGBTQ adults find online dating apps really useful for the community in terms of meeting different people, but also finding friendship? 1 in every 5 adults from the community are now less afraid of staying single, as they feel less pressure to be in a relationship because now they have options to go online, find different people that they want to meet. and not necessarily be in a relationship. So the online dating app world has really helped this community.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
What a healthy turn of events.
Yes, and Mojo, I think a couple of episodes ago, maybe One Night Stand, was it? You did talk about how, meeting different people on Grindr just helped you understand about the community and the different stories and struggles that people had, which you were not privy to before the app. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Real life example.
Gold.
That's awesome. Well, I'd like to take us around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know, Mojo, Pixie, that different countries have different dating traditions?
No shit.
Oh my God.
I know.
What a shocker.
I know. So that kind of came out funny, but the point is, here's some three interesting. I really like these three. Okay, so let's go, starting from China, going westward to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And so in China, as we all know, because of that one-child policy, yada, 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 they had this crazy demographic sort of imbalance favoring men. And so there are like about 33 million at some point more men than women. And so now folks, men looking for heterosexual relationships, now actually go to schools. They're called dating schools to figure out how to up their game.
Wow.
Because, women as a commodity, scarce. And Mexico, guys, I don't know how I feel about it, but it's sort of stuck in and again, of course, there are people who would be, anomalous to this, but apparently generally they follow gender roles. And so we were talking about how, who pays and who asks and stuff, and so it's mostly men who do the asking, men who do the picking up, men who do the paying, regardless. And so that's kind of how it is. I don't know how I feel about that, but there you go. Weird stuff around the world, guys.
Something to keep in mind maybe when you're online dating in these other countries as well.
Yeah, when you turn on your Tinder app in Mexico.
If you have Tinder passport.
We learned about that.
We just learned about it.